Hola tuk, and welcome back to our latest deep dive.
Hello.
Today, we're really zeroing in on something pretty fundamental if you're learning Spanish. We're talking definite articles.
Mm-hmm. Those little words, el, la, los, las, the Spanish equivalents of the.
Exactly. You've probably seen them everywhere. And, the sources we're looking at today should really help clarify how and, crucially, when to use them right.
That's the plan. They might seem simple at first glance, but getting them right is absolutely key for sounding accurate and, well, natural in Spanish. So yeah, this deep dive is all about nailing down el, la, los, and las.
Okay, so first things first, for anyone maybe just starting out, let's baseline this. What exactly are definite articles?
Good question. Think of them like little pointers before a noun being, a person, place, thing, idea. These articles signal you're talking about something specific, something both you, the speaker, and the listener kind of know about or can identify.
Right. So not just any dog, but the dog we both saw, or the dog I mentioned earlier, that kind of thing.
Precisely. I saw a dog versus I saw the dog. That the signals specificity. And here's the kicker for Spanish learners. These words aren't just standalone. They have to agree grammatically with the noun they're attached to.
Agree. How
In two main ways. Gender and number. It's like they need to match the noun perfectly.
Okay, gender and number. Those can feel a bit tricky sometimes when you're coming from English. Let's break down those four articles we mentioned, starting with el.
Right. El is your go-to for masculine singular nouns. So the classic example is el libro, the book.
El libro. And libro ends in o.
Exactly. And that O ending is often, a big hint that the noun is masculine. Plus, it's just one book, so it's singular. Hence, el, you'll see this pattern a lot as a student of Spanish.
Got it. El, one masculine thing, often ending in o. What's next? La.
La. This one's for feminine singular nouns. Think la mesa, the table.
Okay, mesa ends in s.
And that A ending frequently signals a feminine noun. Again, just one table, so singular, which means we use la. These O and A endings are really your first clues for figuring out gender.
So, okay, quick rule of thumb. One thing ends in o, probably el. One thing ends in a, probably la. That's a decent starting point, yeah.
A very helpful one, absolutely. But now what if there's more than one? Let's talk plurals. Los.
Los. So that connects back to el.
It does. Los is basically the plural of el. Use it for masculine nouns when you have two or more. So our libro, if you have several, it becomes los libros.
The books.
Right. The noun libro gets an S to become plural, libros, and the article has to follow suit, changing from el to los. That agreement number is super important.
Okay, el libro, los libros makes sense. Add an S to the noun, change el to los, and the last one then is los.
You got it. Los is the plural partner for la. It goes with feminine plural nouns.
Yeah.
So one mesa becomes multiple mesas. Exactly. Mesa adds an S, and la becomes las. You see the parallel, right? Ellos for masculine, las for feminine.
Okay, fantastic. So the four definite articles, el, la, las, tied to masculine, feminine, and singular plural. You mentioned gender is key. Could you maybe expand a bit on how gender works in Spanish for learners who find it, well, a bit weird?
Sure thing. It can feel strange because in English, we don't really assign gender to inanimate objects like tables or books. But in Spanish, every noun has a grammatical gender. Masculine or feminine, no exceptions.
Every single one? Wow.
Every single one. And as we touched on, the ending is often your best first guess. Nouns ending in O are usually masculine. Things like el perro, the dog, or los zapatos, the shoes, they follow the pattern.
So for students listening, if you see an O, think el or los first.
That's a really good starting point, yes. And conversely, nouns ending in A are very often feminine, like la gata, the female cat, or las casas, houses. Sticking to those patterns helps a lot initially.
Okay, e usually means la or las. O usually means el or los. Seems straightforward. But I feel a but coming. You mentioned exceptions, right? This is where it gets a bit sticky for learners.
It is. Languages love their little quirks, don't they? Spanish is no different. Take a word like agua, water.
Ends in a. So feminine, la agua.
Ah, you'd think so based on the rule. But no, in the singular, it's actually masculine. El agua.
El agua, even with the a ending.
Even with the A. It's mainly for pronunciation reasons, actually, to avoid the A sound together.
Right.
But functionally, for singular, you use el. It's a classic exception everyone learning Spanish bumps into.
Okay, el agua. Good one to remember. What about plural? If you're talking about, I don't know, different waters, does it stay masculine?
And here's where it gets even more interesting. While singular is el agua, the plural flips back to feminine, las aguas.
Seriously, el agua, but las aguas.
Yep. One of those you just kind of have to memorize. It trips people up sometimes.
I can see why. Okay, are there other really common exceptions to the O rule we should flag for learners?
Definitely. Another big one is la mano, the hand.
Ends in O, so it should be el mano.
Logically, yes, based on the pattern. But nope, it's feminine, la mano. Always la mano.
La mano, okay. So the endings are super helpful guides, but not like 100% guaranteed.
Exactly. There's strong tendencies, maybe 80, 90% reliable for common words. But you always have to be ready for these outliers. They just add a bit of flavor, right?
Flavor or frustration, depending on the day. Okay, so we've tackled gender and its exceptions. Let's circle back to number singular versus plural. How does that work with the articles again?
Right. And a number agreement is generally more predictable, thankfully. If you're talking about just one thing, you use the singular articles we started with. El for masculine, la for feminine.
Like el gato, one cat, or la casa, one house.
Perfect. Simple singular concept.
And if we have more than one cat or house?
Then you switch to the plural articles. Los for masculine, las for feminine. So multiple cats, los gatos. More than one house, las casas.
And the noun usually gets an S or S too.
Typically, yes. You make the noun plural, usually by adding S if it ends in a vowel, or S if it ends in a consonant, and crucially, the definite article must also become plural to match. That agreement article and noun, both singular or both plural, is fundamental. Learners really need to get that down.
Okay, so gender agreement and number agreement. That's the core mechanical rule. Now, let's shift gears slightly. When do we actually use these articles? When do we say el coche versus just coche?
Good question. We pull out the definite articles el, la, los, las. When we're talking about something specific, something that's already known in the conversation or, obvious from the context.
Like we both know which car or which flowers we mean.
Exactly. The definite article acts like a little signal. Hey, you know which ones I'm talking about. It establishes that shared understanding or points to something identifiable.
Could you give us an example or two? Make it concrete for our listeners.
Sure. Let's say you and I are looking out the window. I might say, el coche está afuera. The car is outside. Using el implies we both know which car. Maybe it's your car. Maybe it's the neighbor's distinctive car we just discussed. It's the car, not just any car.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or maybe I point to some flowers on the table and say, las flores son muy bonitas.
The flowers are very pretty. Using less makes it clear. I mean, these specific flowers right here that we can both see.
Got it. Specificity is key. It's about shared knowledge or context, making the noun identifiable. So what about the opposite? When do we deliberately not use them?
Generally, you skip the definite articles when you're talking about something in a general sense or something nonspecific, or maybe when you're introducing it for the very first time.
And that's where words like un or una might come in, the indefinite articles. Exactly. Those mean a or en. They signal generality or newness. So if I just randomly said, un coche está afuera, a car is outside, I'm not implying you know which one. Could be any car. I'm just stating a fact about some car.
Ah, okay. El coche, the specific car we know. Un coche. Just some car, maybe the first mention?
Precisely. That distinction between specific reference, definite articles, and general or new reference, often indefinite articles or sometimes no article, is absolutely vital for learners to grasp. It really changes the meaning.
It really does. Okay, so quick recap. Specific thing, known context. Use los, las, matching gender and number. General thing, new thing, probably use uno, nos, unas, or maybe no article.
That's a perfect summary. It boils down to, is this thing identifiable within our current communication? If yes, definite article. If no, probably not. Mastering this is a huge step in Spanish fluency.
Right. Okay, to help lock this in, especially for visual learners out there, we've got a little summary table.
Yeah, just lays it out clearly.
We have el, that's masculine, singular. Example, el perro, the dog.
Then la, feminine, singular. Example, la gata, the female cat.
Next, los, masculine plural. Example, los perros, the dogs.
And finally, las, feminine plural. Example, las gatas, the female cats.
Simple, clear. Keep that visual handy.
Definitely. A good mental cheat sheet as you practice.
All right, practice time. We've got a quick exam and a little quiz for you, the listener. Test your definite article knowledge. We'll read 4 sentences with a blank. You fill in the correct article. El, la, los, or las. Ready?
Listos. Let's see how you do. This is great active recall for students.
Okay, número uno. Uno, casa es muy grande.
Brief pause.
Number two, two, Libros de la biblioteca son interesantes.
Brief pause.
Number 3. Niña juega en el parque.
Brief pause.
And number 4. And not 4.
Gatos están durmiendo.
Brief pause.
Okay, got your answers locked in. Let's check the respuestas.
All right, first one. Asas es muy grande. Casa is house. It ends in a. It's singular.
So it should be.
Feminine singular. La. So, la casa es muy grande. The house is very big. Perfect. Number 2. Libros de la biblioteca son interesantes.
Okay, libros, books, ends in os, so it's plural. And libro is masculine.
Masculine plural.
Needs los.
Yeah.
Correct is, los libros de la biblioteca son interesantes. The books from the library are interesting.
Nicely done. Number 3. Niña juega en el parque.
Niña, girl, ends in os, singular.
Feminine singular again.
That's los. So, la niña juega en el parque. The girl is playing in the park.
Great. And the last one, number 4. Gatos están durmiendo.
Gatos, cats, ends in os, so plural.
Yeah.
And gato is masculine.
Masculine plural, just like libro.
Exactly. It requires the whole full sentence. Los gatos están durmiendo. The cats are sleeping.
Awesome. How did everyone do? Hopefully that little exercise helps cement things. Remember, even these quick checks make a real difference when you're learning.
Absolutely. And don't get discouraged if you missed one or two. It's all part of the process. The more you read and listen to Spanish, the more intuitive this stuff becomes. Pay attention to how native speakers naturally use el, la first. La.
Totally. Okay, well that wraps up our deep dive today on Spanish definite articles.
Yeah, the goal was really just to clarify how and when to use el, la, los, and las correctly. We hope it's been helpful for all you Spanish learners out there.
We covered the 4 articles themselves, the crucial agreement with nouns, gender, and number.
Including those tricky exceptions like el agua and la mano.
Right. And the big difference between using them for specific things versus talking generally.
Those are definitely the key takeaways. Getting a handle on definite articles is a really significant milestone in learning Spanish.
It really is a foundational piece. You need it constantly.
And, thinking about this might make you wonder, how do Spanish articles compare to articles in other languages? Maybe English, maybe another language you know.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, comparing and contrasting how different languages handle specificity and gender that can sometimes unlock a deeper understanding of grammar itself beyond just Spanish. Something to maybe mull over.
That's a great point. A nice little thought to leave our listeners with. So, to you listening, we really hope this deep dive has helped make the world of Spanish definite articles a bit clearer.
Keep practicing, keep listening, keep reading.
Exactly. Keep exploring the language. Hasta la próxima.